Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app, O'Connor and Company.
It's 6:07. It's O'Connor and Company. Thanks for tuning in here this Wednesday morning. It's a busy one, too, and we're going to get you up to speed and plugged in. Everything you need to know to start your day right. Coming up in 30 minutes, Cal Thomas, syndicated columnist extraordinary, will be our guest. 7:05, Ned Ryan, American Majority, to comment on that investigation into Brennan and Comey over Russiagate. 7:35, Robin Ficker running for Congress in Maryland. 8:05, the best of the best, Selena Zito, brand new book about the assassination attempt in Butler and really about the Trump reelection. At 8:35, David Bernstein, founder of North American Values Institute. He's got a book called Woke Anti-Semitism, How Progressive Ideology Harms Jews. Great conversation there. It's always a great conversation with our co-host this morning, Bethany Mandel. Good morning, Bethany.
Thanks for having me. I realize that we have not promoted the fact that I have a podcast and a Substack called The Mom Wars.
Well, let's do that right now. Bethany, do you have a Substack and a podcast by any chance?
I do. Thank you so much, Larry, for asking. It's called The Mom Wars.
The Mom Wars. You are one of the leading moms in the Mom Wars here in this area, and we appreciate that activism.
Yeah, I enjoy being a troublemaker and not sending my children. Can I tell you something funny?
Yes.
At a local elementary school to me in Montgomery County called Arcola Elementary School. They had a sign out front yesterday that I drove by, and it said first day of school, which was yesterday, weirdly enough. I don't know why. And it said first day of Shakool. They spelled school wrong.
I actually
Shakool.
I saw you put that on your X account. And you pointed out that you're a homeschool mom. I was a homeschool dad, and oftentimes you get criticism from, and in some cases, well-meaning criticism. In some cases, it's people just trying to validate their own parenting choices. But they always say one of two things, or both. Oh, your kids are not going to socialize properly, and then you see what kind of socialization they get in the public schools, and you're very happy with your choices. Or they're going to sort of undermine your own abilities and intelligence by saying, "Aren't you worried that you're not capable of teaching your children?" And then you see the elementary school misspelling the word school on their
Shakool. Shakool. So I feel good about, home shakooling my kids.
Once again, this year you will continue to home shakool, and everything should be fine. You are one of the cooler home shakoolers. Yesterday, a big announcement made by the Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, and it had to do with national security. And you may be thinking, what does agriculture have to do with national security? Well, it has to do with a concerted effort by the Chinese government. Let's be clear here, because you're going to get a lot of misinformation from the usual sources, that this is in some way xenophobic or racist or anti-Asian or in some. This has nothing to do with people of Asian descent. It has nothing to do with people of Chinese descent. It has nothing to do with Americans with roots in China or Chinese descent, or their families having families in Chinese. And my children are of Chinese descent, okay? They can buy as much farmland as they want. This isn't even about Chinese nationals per se purchasing land here in this country. This is about people and organizations with direct ties to the Communist Party in China and the government in Beijing, who are not our friends, who have been systematically buying up agriculture entities and farmland in this country, which, by the way, in many cases are very close to military bases. Yeah. Here's cut two, Trump administration Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins.
Today, we are taking this purpose and our American farmland back. American agriculture is not just about feeding our families, but about protecting our nation and standing up to foreign adversaries who are buying our farmland, stealing our research, and creating dangerous vulnerabilities in the very systems that sustain us. Reshoring and nearshoring our food and agriculture supply chain is essential for our nation's security. In coordination with the White House, the Departments of Treasury, Defense, Homeland Security, and Justice, as well as state governors, state agriculture commissioners, local, tribal, and territorial governments, today we announced the USDA's National Farm Security Action Plan. This plan includes 7 key action items, and there's a lot of people here that I want you to hear from, so I'm not going to go one by one, but just very quickly. It's on our website. The press has gotten a preview of it, and we can ask some questions once we finish the main program. But very quickly, and perhaps the most important, the first of the 7 is securing and protecting American farmland ownership. Actively engaging at every level of government to take swift legislative and executive action to ban the purchase of American farmland by Chinese nationals and other foreign adversaries. Standing on the shoulders of great governors, 3 of whom are standing behind me, who have already been leading the way on this issue. And at the federal government level, working to do everything within our ability, including presidential authorities, to claw back what has already been purchased by China and other foreign adversaries. Additionally, working with the Treasury of the Secretary of the Treasury, along with our Defense Department, on memorandums to ensure that moving forward, there is a much more intentional look at who is buying what in this country and from where they are in the world.
There you go. Right now, 29 states, over 277,000 acres, currently owned by entities connected to the Chinese government. And that's, listen, they got over 1 billion people there. They got to feed them. I get it. In 2013, they bought our single largest pork producer. 25% of America's pork products are exported to China. But this, as she just said, the Secretary just said, agriculture policy and farm policies, those are national security policies too, as we've learned, Bethany. And this is just smart. It's just wise management of our nation to be on top of this and make sure that we're paying attention to these issues.
And this is something that I love about the Trump administration, because America first isn't. I think a lot of people think, foreign policy, whatever. This is forward-thinking America first, thinking that happens across the board. And so we're seeing movement from cabinet positions that you don't necessarily expect to see anything exciting from, like Kristi Noem with the shoes thing, right. Sean Duffy fixing Newark Airport. Thank God for that. Tragedy has been averted there thanks to Sean Duffy, Secretary of Transportation.
Lee Zeldin at EPA has a focus on national security. We'll get to that a little later.
Exactly, and we're going to get into that later. But when President Trump put people in these secretary positions that had, this wasn't just sort of a quid pro quo of, I'm going to give you this, this cushy job because you support me. No, right. He put people in those positions that would take actionable, real, tangible steps towards making America great again.
Yeah. And
thank God for that, because it felt like it was just a political prize that was thrown to buddies for a long time. I think those days are over.
Brooke Rollins, USDA, she's got this move right here, big announcement. Also, she was tip of the spear on making sure that egg prices got back to normal after inheriting horrible policies from the Biden administration, getting on top of the avian flu crisis and getting egg prices normalized and production of eggs normalized. Brooke Rollins, Department of Agriculture.
Unsung hero.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Who was Biden's Secretary of Agriculture?
Who could possibly know that?
Exactly. Exactly.
And there's going to be an ag festival on the National Mall, I think next month.
Celebrating America's farmers
and
what we do well. By the way, you got to give him credit because he gets it. Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania, after this announcement, took to social media and said, I hope many would agree the Chinese government and other U.S. adversaries should own zero agriculture land in our great country. It's a national security issue and a food security issue, and he's proud to partner with Senator Ricketts on this very issue as they take it up in Congress. So good for you, Fetterman. He gets it.
I did not having loving Fetterman on my bingo board for this year. I really did. I mean, I sort of did because he was great last year, too.
Yeah.
But I ran into him on the Hill recently, and I kind of fangirled. I was like, Senator Fetterman, I just love you. It was all right. Thanks, I guess.
Settle down there. All right. We don't need another
He was alone. It was kind of weird. I just walked up to him and I said, I kind of love you. You're doing great, man. Keep it up.
You do need to stop dressing like him, though. It's getting out of hand.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
Well, it's Christmas in July officially, or really more accurately, the day after Thanksgiving in July, right? It's Prime Day now, which is a manufactured event created by Amazon to make you spend money. And I've been getting the alerts on my phone, certainly, with the Prime app, telling me if you're going to buy something, wait till July 9th, because now you'll get a sale. Have you been putting off any major purchases, Bethany Mandel, waiting for Prime Day?
Major purchases. So I had held off on getting an Alexa because it's spying on you.
Oh, yeah, we don't have those in our house. Same.
But then I succumbed. And
Really?
let me tell you, it's been great.
Do you love it?
I do. I'm chopping vegetables and I say, Alexa, broadcast, and I can yell at my children. I was yelling at them through my Alexa app on my phone last night very meanly. Shut up. Go to bed. I don't want to hear another people. I didn't even have to leave my bed. I can parent from my Alexa now.
Well, now, all right, you've sold me. That's impressive.
It's amazing.
I can ignore my wife from 3 rooms away. Wait, I can do that now. This is brilliant. By the way, by saying the A word, you know that anyone listening to us right now in their home, they're like their system is going nuts because you keep saying it. I actually got a dot. Somebody gave me a dot for Christmas one year, and it's still sitting in the box. So maybe I'll open it up and try it out. But I don't like that they spy on you. Anyway, today is the 4-day event, July. It's the 8th. It started yesterday.
Yes, it started yesterday.
Through the 11th, you need to be a member of Prime. You can get a $1.99 one-week trial, though, and you will get major discounts on a whole lot of stuff. I think Meredith has been putting up. Well, we buy we buy the giant thing of paper towels and the giant thing of toilet paper and stuff like that. And I think that she has delayed those purchases until this week so we can stock up on things like that. You can get good deals. But I don't think we have anything major that we're buying.
I did buy an iPad. They had an 11-inch that was like a really good sale for under $300.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah, so I got that for my 11-year-old. But I cannot speak highly enough of parenting through the Alexa. I was also sending messages for my children.
Hold on. Do you have one in each of their bedrooms, too?
I do.
Wow.
I do. I have in each bedroom, the basement and the kitchen now. And I waited to get the basement and the kitchen ones until Prime Day. And it has been a revelation. I leave them messages. I should do that actually this morning. Don't forget to put the laundry in to my daughter. I'm going to do that right now.
Wow, that's terrific.
It's amazing. And then they wake up and they see Mommy left a message. Yeah. And then I can remind them. I love it. And honestly, am I interesting enough that I care if Amazon is listening to me? No, I'm not. I'm really not.
That's right. It's true. So what if you spy on me? There's nothing happening here. What are you going to do?
Go ahead. Seth did say that he interrogated the Alexa recently about how much she spies on him, and he got unsatisfactory answers from her.
Ooh.
But I'm fine with it, and the convenience is worth it to me, and I can listen to podcasts. By the way, you can say the name of the device. I won't.
That's right. No, go ahead.
And then you can say, play the Mom Wars podcast, which is my podcast.
That's true. Or Bethany, let's not push it. You could say, play O'Connor and Company podcast.
There you go. There you go.
Give it a little equal time here.
We've done a public service.
Well, that's cool. I think I was aware of that. Like I said, Meredith, we don't have like the smart thermostats and all that stuff and controlled through the phone and all that because she does not like the fact that all these things are interconnected and
it's creepy.
She likes to have the bunker mentality whenever possible. But there are other things you can purchase. We might be in the market for a new television.
And I bet that would be a good thing to buy.
I might look at
Day.
Amazon Prime for that on the Prime Day stuff. It's really just a way. Let's face it, we got to help Jeff Bezos pay for that wedding.
So I will say also, Walmart is doing their own deals, and I got all of our school supplies on Walmart. 50 cents for crayons, 50 cents for markers, notebooks the same. So it's not just on Prime. You can spread the wealth and get things on Walmart. One of my favorite things is Walmart Plus. I feel like this is just an infomercial. Walmart, can you send me a check?
It's news you can use.
Yeah. Walmart Plus has been amazing for my grocery budget. I used to do Instacart for Costco, and now I get Walmart deliveries literally almost every single day. Walmart is losing so much money on me. But the groceries are so much cheaper, and I don't have to leave my house.
There you go. Well, thank God your life has gotten more convenient because, once in a while you should ask your husband to do something around the home. It sounds like you're doing everything.
I mean, he's injuring our 2-year-old. He's lifting his weight. It's okay because he's not awake yet. So
that's what dads are for. Dads are supposed to put the toddler boys in grave danger at any given time because,
Well, he held him down to get staples in his head yesterday. That was where I spent my day yesterday. I'm with you guys Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week. And yesterday I thought I would have the day off, and I spent the morning in the emergency room stapling
and you're blaming the husband for that.
Yes. I'm not going to get into details on air, but it was Seth's fault. But we spent the day yesterday in the emergency room at Holy Cross. Shout out to Holy Cross. Thank you very much in Montgomery County for stapling my son's head together expertly.
It's a great landmark on the Beltway to know that you're about to hit a lot of traffic before you get off on Wisconsin. 6:23. All right, coming up, we're going to have our weekly visit with Cal Thomas. He'll have plenty to say, no doubt. So we'll get into it with him. And we're going to shed a little light on a really dubious distinction for the governor of Maryland, Wes Moore, as the debris cleanup for the Key Bridge has finally begun 15 months after the fact. Next.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now. Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
It is 6:37 now on O'Connor and Company. Thanks so much for letting us be a part of your morning routine. At 7:05, we're going to check in with Ned Ryan of American Majority about the announcement yesterday the FBI is investigating John Brennan and James Comey. 7:35, Robin Ficker running for Congress in Maryland. 8:05, the great Selena Zito. Her brand new book hit yesterday about the assassination attempt in Butler. She had a front row seat. And then at 8:35, David Bernstein, author of Woke Anti-Semitism. That's coming up. It's Larry O'Connor with Bethany Mandel, our friend and columnist and activist and mom. Thanks, Bethany, for being here.
And the Mom Wars Substack and podcast, Larry.
There it is. Joining us right now is Cal Thomas, syndicated columnist extraordinaire. And your column tomorrow is something I'm very excited to talk about, politics in the pulpit. Cal, thanks for joining us.
Well, it's nice to be with you as always, Larry, and welcome to your new co-host.
She's what now? Julie's just on vacation. Let's not start any rumors.
No, I know. Yeah. Well, I think it was an interesting ruling by the IRS. This ruling goes back to 1954 when Lyndon Johnson, who was running for re-election to the U.S. Senate, managed to squeeze something into the 501c3 measure of the Internal Revenue Service that prevented preachers and other religious institutions from involving themselves in politics and endorsing candidates. I always thought that was a double-edged sword. First, it was a free speech issue. Preachers and priests and others should not be restricted in what they say. But on the other hand, when they get too involved in politics, they dilute their primary message, which is about another kingdom and another world. So I think that, it's two ways of looking at this. And I'm for keeping the preachers out of politics and keeping the politicians out of theology.
Yeah, but Cal, what am I missing? Democrats have been exploiting this for years now. I mean, you see presidential candidates constantly running to inner-city black churches. And, I mean, if that's not a full-on endorsement of them, they raise money, they pass around the collection plate for the campaign, for crying out loud.
I agree. I totally agree, and I make that in the column very clear. You've had black preachers and even white liberal preachers. You think back at Riverside Church in New York with William Sloane Coffin back in the 60s. They'd have these candidates in there. They'd only show up at election time, of course, the only time they went to church, and the pastor would either tacitly or openly endorse them for election or re-election. It was a crazy violation of this regulation. So on one hand, I'm glad the IRS has done away with it, but on the other hand, I'm concerned that, with church attendance dropping in the country, a lot of young people think that churches already, the evangelical churches anyway, are already too political, and that's one of the reasons they're not attending.
I think that's absolutely true, and that's something that, has always concerned me. I'm Jewish, but, same problem. But I saw in New York how synagogues had their hands tied fighting against a full-on anti-Semite who was running for mayor in New York, Mamdani. And it really, it is an existential crisis for New York area Jews, and they need to be able to speak up against that. But I think also, among Christians, there needs to be the ability to have these real conversations, and Christians, pastors and rabbis and priests and all of these things, they need to have the ability to use their own discretion to decide when they need to get political or not.
As a practicing Catholic, I sometimes wish the Catholic Church got more political. They try to stay so far on the sidelines that I think that they've sort of neutered their political influence that they could have.
Right. Well, then you had supposedly committed Catholics like Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, and others who were out there with pro-abortion legislation, no restrictions whatsoever. You mentioned the New York Jewish community. It has always been amazing to me that so many liberal Jewish people vote against their own interests. If they vote for this guy Mandami, who is anti-Israel, who is anti-Semitic, they're committing political suicide. So I think in rare circumstances, it's good for people to, in the pulpits, in the synagogues, to point out the positions of people and how they either conform with or oppose what is taught in the scriptures in which they believe. That's not a problem for me, but I do think endorsing candidates crosses a theological and political line. People should stay mostly in their own lanes.
Hey, Cal Thomas, speaking of support for Israel, I'm sure you saw Bibi Netanyahu, prime minister of that country, is in town, and at a meeting with President Trump, he ceremoniously presented him with his letter that he had sent to the Nobel Prize Committee nominating Trump for the Peace Prize. And I know, some people in the mainstream media and in the Beltway might sort of roll their eyes at that, but if you really think about it, if you look at the merits, Trump's done a hell of a lot in 6 months.
Absolutely right, and so is Netanyahu, I might add. I've known him for many, many years since he was deputy chief of mission at the Israeli embassy in Washington, and I think he has saved Israel. I think he's done some tremendous things, and he's certainly more qualified for the Nobel Peace Prize than Obama, who had done nothing at all and got it within his first couple of months in office.
Yeah. If I were Trump, I'd say, listen, I appreciate it, but until they pull back the one they gave to Yasser Arafat, I want nothing to do with the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, very good point. Very good point. I agree with that totally. These things, it's like the Pulitzer Prize. They've lost all meaning. And you point out Arafat and some of these others. It's basically liberals giving awards to liberals like the Academy Awards.
Yep.
I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about the Epstein files, because we've been talking about that on this show for the last few days. But yesterday came up during the press briefing with Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary. There seems to be some rare dissent among lots of conservatives who are not necessarily buying what we're being served about the fact that there's no client list, like all of these things. What are your thoughts on what we were sold?
Well, there was a lot of over-the-top claims. Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, said she had a truckload of documents about this, that she had a list of names that she was about to release, and now all of a sudden there's not a truckload of documents and there's no list of names. I'm still maybe it's been answered, but I've not been able to find it. These prisons are not supposed to have blankets or sheets that allow you to commit suicide. Now, I know I've heard the explanation of how he did it, supposedly tying the bed sheet around the end of the bed, leaning forward and all of that. Fine. But there's just too much in this that doesn't pass the smell test. The camera's off. The guard's not there. There was no additional inmate in the jail cell. And then all of these claims by Bondi and others, I can't believe that Jeffrey Epstein didn't have a list. And then when you put Bill Clinton in the list, I mean, that just adds another layer of skepticism for me.
You're not alone, Cal Thomas. You're not alone. Always good talking with you, my friend. Thanks for joining us. Stay cool down there in Florida. I've heard that the mosquitoes are extra large this year, so behave yourself.
Well, I would, except I'm here in Arlington for a couple of weeks, and all we had last night was that major storm.
Oh, all right. We'll have to get together while you're here. Thanks, Cal. Good to see you.
I would love it. Okay.
Take
Thanks,
care.
Mike.
6:44.
Making sense of your world.
Thank you for what you do.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
You give me hope.
Making sense of the news. Mark Levin, weekdays 6 till 9 on 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
Bethany Mandel, you are a fellow Marylander. We live in Maryland. We've chosen Maryland
Why?
as our place of residence.
Why?
Well, because I love the United States Naval Academy, and I love the Annapolis area.
I love where I live, despite our leaders.
The government is not great, and it's personified by Governor Wes Moore right now, and he's being talked about not so quietly as a potential presidential candidate. And I often hear the same thing. It's like, well, he handled the Key Bridge disaster so well. Did he, though? No one's really I mean, he showed up that day. He gave a press conference. But get this, demolition work on the Key Bridge expected to start this week. They're just now starting to clear the final elements of debris 15 months after the event.
What were they doing this whole time?
What's been going on?
It's not like they had to get a permit or anything. You can just, because you're the government, you can just do it. What's the holdup here?
Ron DeSantis had a bridge built after the hurricane, like 3 days after a bridge got torn down, at least temporarily. And it's going to cost $2 billion. It's going to take 4 years to do. They're just now getting started. And everyone says, oh, he did such a great job. What exactly did Wes Moore do with this disaster in his state?
I mean, what has Wes Moore done? In general,
what has Wes Moore done at all?
Remember when he came into office with a surplus, thanks to Larry Hogan, and now we're all running in the red? This is the result of Democrats running things. They don't know how to run things. They don't know how to manage. I'm sure there are things they are good at. I'm not sure. I haven't discovered those yet, but maybe they exist. I implore our listeners to think about who they want to actually run things. Yeah. Because maybe it's not Democrats.
No, but he has a charming smile and a great resume.
He's handsome.
And he's good looking. He looks great on TV. So that's all that matters. 6:52.